night was so crazy. Oh my God. Was a phrase that I often used to say. My sister used to tell me that she worried about my need for sexual attention. But I was in my mid-20s and I didn't care. I was a young woman who'd moved to the city, and like most young women that moved to the city to be actresses, I was focused on my career at an East Village cafe serving people coffee and being the woman that had the wildest, craziest, sexiest story from her night before. Like Dirty Tan, the guy that I wasn't quite sure if he was dirty or if he was tan until I let him put his dick inside me just a little bit, and then I found out, and I was really dirty. Or like there's the guy that picked me up outside of a subway stop by asking me, "You look so sad," and I was like, "Oh, I guess." And he took me back to his place to smoke pot and have sex, and then he never called, and I was so confused. I thought he cared about my feelings. Then there was a guy that I ran into, that I had met at a party, and I ran into him a few days after the party, and I was like, oh my God, whoever does that, that's crazy. We spent the whole day together, and I brought him back to my place to like watch a movie or something, keep it light, but then he insisted on staying the night because he could give me really great head, and it wasn't, but still, he stayed the night, and in the morning he grabbed a Shakespeare book from my bookshelf and read it and out loud. So sexy. And then he stroked my face and asked me, acne scars? But I think my favorite was the night that I was drinking alone at a bar that has since closed called Rafifi, right down there, right down the street. And I was drinking alone and thinking that, tonight it's a bust for any action or story. But then I noticed there's another lonely soul at the other end of the bar, drinking alone as well. So I lean over the couple of bar stools between us. I use my best line at the time. Hey, are you Jewish? To which he responded, yeah, why? To which I responded, I'm just trying to figure out why I'm so attracted to you. So naturally, we started chit-chatting, and it turns out he's a lawyer, and he lives down the street, and he works for his father, and everything that I say about Woody Allen he finds fascinating. But then, things, keep on going, and I'm thinking, I'm laying down all this groundwork, but the guy's not picking up the pieces, right? So I try a tactic that I'm not sure if it's going to work. I grab my coat, I grab my purse, and I say, you know what, I've had a good time, but I have to go. And I exit the bar. And I get around the corner and down the street before I hear, Julia! And I turn around. Yeah? And it's him. And it's worked. This has never worked before. He's come outside of the bar following me. I'm like, what? And he goes, I was having a good time drinking. And I was like, is there something else you need me for? He says, well, I'd like to keep on hanging out, but my cat is dying. I live just down the street. Do you want to come meet my cat before he dies? Now, I'm allergic to cats, but I know what he means, do you want to have sex? So I say, yeah! We go back to his tiny East Village apartment, meet his cat, say hello to his cat, watch him give the cat medicine, And then I climb up into his East Village apartment loft bed, and he follows me up, and I do a little bit of this, and we do a little bit of this, and he starts to go down on me, and you know, I mean, this is, normally a woman would be excited by this, right? But I knew the etiquette, and you know, if he goes down on you, you go down on him. And at this point in my life, I wasn't very confident about my ability to give a blowjob because I usually gave them to strangers, and I didn't get a lot of solid feedback. So I'm a little anxious while he's going down on me, and then I pull him back up, and I'm like, all right, let's get this part over, and you know, but I do have a technique. You know, I start kissing his chest. And I move down to his tummy. And then I get down to his underpants. And I start to take the underpants off. There is not only a huge penis, but also next to the penis a huge tattoo of John Cusack holding a stereo above his head. And ladies, I don't know if you've ever tried to give a blowjob while stifling giggles. But now add to that In Your Eyes is playing in my head. I'm thinking, oh. In your eyes, alone. We have sex.
You can't take it seriously.
But it really happened. He didn't call either. Of course. Wow. But you know, a couple weeks later, after I've mended my broken heart, I returned to Rafifi, and I'm talking with the bartender that I'd never met before. And I was like, oh my God, last time I was here, it was so crazy. I met this guy, right? And he lived right down the street, right? And he had this fucking John Cusack Say Anything tattoo. Oh my God. And she goes, he lives right down the street? And I go, yeah. And she goes, yeah, that's my ex. I moved here for him. Turns out he's a sex addict. He couldn't stop cheating on me, and when I finally broke up with him, he got that tattoo to say he was sorry. So, you know, at least, you know, I mean, hey, you know, we were all crazy in our 20s. We were all, you know, needed sexual attention to figure out our worth. But at the end of the day, at least I didn't get a John Cusack tattoo next to my pussy to remind me of it. Thank you.